March 7th, my parents and I decided to buy tickets to the Salvador Dali Museum and to the Salvador Dali 360 show in order to learn more about Salvador Dali and learn who he was and the influences he may have had on Spanish culture and American. When we first entered the museum after getting our tickets, the first thing we were greeted by was a gift shop where you could buy recreations of Dali's paintings and t-shirts. There were also really cool art pieces, and you could actually buy different art supplies. Then, of course, we went to the painting gallery where we saw several paintings. Oh, look, there's Gala. As you can tell, the paintings really captured our interest. Dad liked The Discovery of America by Christopher Columbus a lot, and the hallucinogenic Toreador. There were a lot of awesome statues and art pieces outside while we were waiting for the Dali 360 show to start. This show, for me, was the highlight of the museum because it told me so much about Salvador Dali's life through visual story and storytelling. For example, did you know that Salvador Dali has actually collaborated with Walt Disney on the film Spellbound? Like the Walt Disney. Dali just had such a huge sphere of influence in the little time he was in America. Also, did you know that Salvador Dali invented a style called nuclear mysticism? Now you may be asking yourself, what the hell's nuclear mysticism? That, my friend, I have an answer for. Nuclear mysticism was an art movement that Salvador Dali created after being in the United States during the atomic bomb during World War II. He truly believed that through the atomic bomb, science was proving the existence of God, and as a result, he started creating art pieces, not just filled with religion, but filled with scientific concepts. These, of course, had an influence on the public's opinion on science. Yes, would you believe that Salvador Dali is more relevant here in the United States or in Spain, where he was born?
I would guess Spain.
Yeah, I think he had a big influence in the U.S. when he came here, and it's a lasting influence. It's inspired a lot of other artists. But yeah, probably there locally in Spain, just because the attachment the people have there with being from the same culture, and I think it could be Spain.
What symbols did you both notice in Dali's paintings?
I noticed a lot of bread in his paintings. I don't know necessarily if that was like a religious reference or what, but there were a lot of bread references in his painting.
I noticed that there were like he has small figures that he kind of puts in, and the references probably to kind of being afraid and feeling overwhelmed with parts of reality.
What was your favorite thing that you learned about Salvador Dali?
I don't know if it was my favorite, but the most interesting was how he felt he was kind of a replacement child for his brother, and that played a big part in how his self-esteem and how he viewed himself and how he wanted to grow up and kind of do something huge.
The most interesting thing was the attachment that he had to pop culture when he was here in the U.S., and then the influence that he had like surrounding World War II, and kind of how he took the things that were going on in the world, like with the atomic bomb and things like that in the 50s, and then incorporated it into his art.
Which painting of Dali's captured your attention the most?
And I probably will forget the names because my brain doesn't.
You liked the Sugar Sphinx one.
I did like the Sugar Sphinx one. You're right. I did like that one a lot.
Yeah, and I like the hallucinogenic bullfighter. I thought that was the
yeah,
one
hallucinogenic Toreador.
It kind of has the painting inside the painting when you look at it from different angles, and I thought that was pretty cool.
As you can tell, my family and I learned quite a bit about who Salvador Dali was as a person. He had a broad influence on American culture despite being here for around 20 years of his life before spending the remaining 40 before his death back in Spain after World War II. He was a little bit egocentric, but he was a true creative and visionary with a dark past. If you don't believe me, take it from the man himself.
In other words, the most important to you, expressing